This is From Destruction to Dignity with Janice Pons. Each week, Janice shares her wisdom to enlighten, educate, and advance the culture in America today. Janice Pons is a mother, author, and free thinker, and your host for our podcast this evening. Now let's join your host, Janice Pons.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. Come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Janice Pons. I'm the host on this podcast, From Destruction to Dignity, Clinical Perspective, Spiritual Truths. Tonight, we're going to continue our journey as we, the people, have been focused on a specific path related to gaining a clear understanding about our nation, how it's supposed to work, how it's structured. Our beautiful flag behind me, our presidential seal, is to remind us, of course, that represents our nation. This represents us remembering the importance of praying for the president of this nation. Of course, 2 Chronicles 7:14 says, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sins and heal their land. We need healing in our land. The phrase, my people shall be called by my name, conveys a sense of belonging and identity together. It says that there's a group of people who will be recognized and unified under a specific name, reflecting their shared values or allegiance. I'm going to be kind of repeating that for a while because there's power in that. I am going to keep praying for the millions of Americans. Last year was 265,900,000. I've said that number. I say it because it's a lot of people that were affected by the dynamics that went on in our country who suffered so gravely. They were identified as those living paycheck to paycheck, barely making ends meet in 2024. That was 78% of working Americans. Are they out of the woods? Is everything clear? We've got a ways to go. They're working to dig out of the hole. Almost 80% of Americans clearly said the country was going in the wrong direction last year. They voted. We had an election. The people spoke loud and clear. And they said, listen, here's what's important to us. And repeatedly, I brought up who needs to be in charge of America, what is at stake. A lot of people don't have a clue what's at stake. Does it matter who's in the White House? I had someone say, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's in the White House. I beg to differ. Well, it does matter because that determination has been made. So where do we go from here? Some people are struggling with acceptance of the results. Can we move on as a nation? Let's look at some specific dynamics together. Donald Trump is the president, whether you like it or not. He was the one elected. We're still walking some things out with him. It's a lot going on. But we know that he was elected to be in charge of the executive branch. We got that legislative branch, the judicial branch, the executive branch. He and J.D. Vance are the ones that the majority of the people said they are the ones we want to be in charge of this country. We had, and I love saying this, a GOP trifecta. I like that word, trifecta, three. We gained control of the White House, the electoral vote, and the popular vote. Also won the Senate and the majority of the House. All of this evokes so many strong emotions in our fellow Americans. Some are elated, some not so much. One thing that I have lived long enough to recognize and embrace is the need for someone who understands our nation from the perspective of a world view. Anyone who cannot acknowledge that we have become weak in the eyes of other world leaders is not paying attention and being intellectually honest. Why is it even important for us to truly be strong as a world leader? I respectfully submit that this is important because of the reality of BRIC, B-R-I-C. What is B-R-I-C? What's the purpose of BRIC What's that all about? BRICS, BRICS. It's an acronym for the powerful grouping of the world's leading emerging market economies, namely Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Guys, we got to pay attention to this kind of stuff. We need somebody in leadership that really is fighting for our best interests about all this. The BRICS mechanism aims to promote peace, they say. Listen, peace, security, development, and cooperation. Cooperation with what? Let's look at that. Have you heard about the expanding influence of BRICS and its potential to overtake the U.S. and the dollar? Led by powerful nations like Russia and China, BRICS envisions a new global order. This is important. And the implications are not just on a geopolitical scale, but could directly impact us, me, you. If it impacts you, do you need to know about it? Do we need to at least have a general working knowledge about it? Originally composed of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, BRICS, BRICS, that acronym, has doubled in size with new members. Listen to the new members: Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates, comprising nearly half of the world's population and 30% of the global economy. 30 more countries are lining up to join in. Do you think that we need someone who is in charge, overseeing the executive branch of our government, that is going to make sure that we don't get swallowed up in this as a world leader? See, people going on about Trump's 2025, totally distracting black Americans, and it's about Agenda 2030. All this ties in. Now listen, the threat isn't merely strategic, it's personal. After the health crisis instigated by China's alleged bio-warfare tactics, BRICS is now targeting our wealth. Over 1 million people died as a result of what happened in the Wuhan lab. Okay, Russia claims that they want sovereign equality and a fair global financial system, but their actions such as invading Ukraine and proposing a unified currency to challenge the U.S. dollar, the U.S. dollar, and influence oil producers like the United Arab Emirates to shift away from the dollar, reveal a different agenda. We need somebody that's paying attention to these dynamics. Imagine a world where half of global transactions occur in the BRICS currency. Let me say this about that whole oil thing. Do you all remember when Joe Biden went and asked for oil with over there from the people in the Middle East, and they said no? Wow. What did that say about our strength? And the gas prices shot up. And before then, when Trump was in there the first time, you all know how affordable gas was. Then it got to the point in 2024 where people were trying to decide if they were going to buy gas or buy groceries. They couldn't buy both. They couldn't afford both. I knew people that were working 2 and 3 full-time jobs just to support themselves, a husband and wife, and 3 and 4 children. Imagine a world where half of global transactions occur in the BRICS currency. The consequences could be dire for the United States: a weakened dollar, soaring cost of imports, stock market crashes, and a fragile economy. Everyday items we import could become unaffordable. We just can't afford them, severely impacting your purchasing power. BRICS partners want to reduce their dependence on the U.S. dollar and the SWIFT system, an international messaging network for financial transactions that Russian banks were cut off from in 2022. Now, the new development bank has a president. The president's name is Dilma Rousseff. Dilma Rousseff came out and publicly said that there has been an agreement in principle to use a new settlement currency called the unit, which will be backed 40% by gold and 60% by the local currencies in the BRIC Union. And this is them in all those countries. Do we need to know about this kind of stuff? Do we need somebody that has their finger on the pulse beat of all this? Do we need a businessman? The 10 countries, including Saudi Arabia, who has been invited but now formally accepted, that now make up BRICS, represent 45% of the world's population, 28% of the world's economic output, and 47% of global crude oil. Drill, baby, drill, said Donald Trump. Remember, Joe Biden went to him asking for oil. They said no. What happened? Our gas prices went sky high. Lord have mercy. Intra-BRICS trade is one area that the group has found its footing. Now, here is the $1 million question. With these types of dynamics going on, who do you want to be in charge of our nation? Donald Trump has threatened BRICS countries with 100% sanctions if they create a new currency or try to dislodge the dollar through another alternative. However, Russia, which proposed a common BRICS currency long before it invaded Ukraine, has reservations about it. Or Russia's central bank thinks it will be very hard to achieve. BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, was founded as a trade group. BRICS was founded as a trade group, and they expanded to BRICS Plus through the inclusion of Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, all these other groups that want to come on. Hence, with Russia and Iran as members, it has 2 sanctioned countries. Listen, in 2024, the group pivoted from a focus on a new single currency towards encouraging local currency payments. At the same time, there appears to be some reluctance by other BRICS members to become dependent on China's currency. Might have some smart leaders thinking this thing through. And I guarantee you this, with Trump at the table, they're going to really be thinking some things through, because he ain't playing. In November of 2024, Vladimir Putin made a very thought-provoking comment. He said, I've heard a lot of discussion at the expert and journalistic levels about the need to consider creating a single currency. However, it is too early to talk about that, and it is not a goal we have set for ourselves to even consider a common currency. We would first need to achieve a higher level of economic integration among our countries. Listen, there are there are 180 currencies in the world. I want somebody at the table to know something about some money. I want a multi-billionaire at the table. That's who we elected. That means there are more than 16,000 currency pairs, most of which have horrible exchange rates. The foreign exchange market is like any other. The deeper the market, the narrower the spread between the buy and sell prices, and the better the FX rate. The FX rate is the foreign exchange. Foreign exchange is the conversion of one currency into another at a specific rate known as the foreign exchange rate. Listen, guys, these things are important. Somebody says, why is she talking about that? This stuff is going to affect us. This is what happened to us in 2024. Barely making ends meet. Groceries were high. 50% increase on groceries. Gas was skyrocketing. People couldn't make it. Hence, pretty much all currencies have their best FX rates against the U.S. dollar. If you want to exchange Indian rupees with Hong Kong dollars, you're probably best off trading rupees with U.S. dollars and U.S. dollars for Hong Kong dollars. Now, this is what Trump had to say. Putin said what he said. Everybody got something to say. But this is what Trump said. We require, I love this man, because he ain't playing. Trump's not playing. He said, we require a commitment from these countries that they will neither create a new BRICS currency nor back any other currency to replace the mighty U.S. dollar, or they will face 100% tariffs and should expect to say goodbye to selling into the wonderful U.S. economy. And this is what he said, they can go find another sucker. There is no chance that the BRICS will replace the U.S. dollar in international trade, and any country that tries to wave goodbye to America, I want him at the table. After Trump won the election, Putin made quite a few comments about the dollar. As for us in Russia, we are not abandoning the dollar, he said, nor did we ever intend to. Why? Trump was at the table. We have simply been denied the use of the dollar as a payment method. He continued, it seemed to me that the dollar is like a sacred cow, something that should never be disturbed. But no, they have taken it into their own hands and essentially cut off its horns, stopped taking care of it, and instead are exploiting it recklessly. What is this? He asked. Yet, it is their own doing. Payments in dollars have not declined drastically around the world just yet, nor has its role as a means of accumulation been significantly reduced. But there are those that want us bowing at the altar of the United Nations. That ties in with Agenda 2030. A lot of their things sound good, but our Constitution will mean nothing if they have their way. Even among their closest partners, the use of the dollar is slowly diminishing, and this is something that has becoming a clear trend. And under the Biden administration, it was on steroids. When talking about BRICS investment in emerging markets, Putin made other statements which were not entirely clear without context. It sounds as though the BRICS New Development Bank is considering creating a new stable financial instrument, a cross between an investment and an algorithmic stable coin. We can make these digital tools almost inflation free, because in case of an oversupply, we can withdraw some of them, and if there is a shortage, we can issue more and regulate them with the help of oversight on the part of central banks and the BRICS New Development Bank, said Putin. Listen, I'm going to say this right now. You all better wake up and start learning about investments and learn. Listen, I don't know a lot about financial matters, but I can tell you right now, I'm learning. Moreover, I'm so grateful to have a leader who will not throw us under the bus and has knowledge as a business leader to consider what is the best thing for the nation and not submit us to the control of the United Nations. I'm going to say this. I've been saying this for at least 3 years. If Trump had his way, we'd all be millionaires. And I'm getting ready to say this. There is going to be a transfer of wealth. Are you going to be a part of it? When we had the 9,000 opportunity zones under Trump, there were opportunities that people had with businesses in rural and urban communities where that was a part of funds being shifted, tax breaks being shifted. There are a lot of dynamics, but I'm telling you what, that man knows things that we need him at the table swinging for us, fighting for us. And there are a lot of dynamics going on, a lot of cryptocurrency. And I don't know anything about those types of things, but I'm going to learn because I want to know, and I don't want to miss the first train going out. I don't want to miss it, and I'm not going to miss it. And I really believe in my heart of hearts is there's going to be a transfer of wealth. So we need to be knowledgeable. So, having said all this, it was kind of technical, but this caught my attention because it's going to affect us. So, from a clinical perspective, we're looking at the nation. We've just kind of examined the nation and financial dynamics. Yeah. So, from a clinical perspective, this brings us to considering why competent leadership is even important. I mean, does it even matter what a leader knows? Can't they just get it as they move along? They'll get it. They can put an earpiece in their ear and somebody can give them a feedback. Look, I'm telling you, this is why Kamala Harris lost. She showed no competence in so many areas. She couldn't even answer basic questions. Donald Trump, she said in one interview, I think it was with Anderson Cooper, she said Donald Trump's name 26 times. Does competent leadership give us a sense of security as human beings? Why does it even matter? Competent leadership is valuable because it can significantly improve team performance, foster a positive work culture, boost employee engagement, drive innovation, achieve organizational goals more effectively, and create a sense of trust and direction within a team, ultimately leading to increased productivity and success. I have used these dynamics that I have just specified here as a director over teams, and let me tell you, it works. What are the key aspects of competent leadership that contribute to its value? All right, let's look at this together. What would be the role of motivation and inspiration? Effective leaders can motivate their team members by setting what? Clear goals. Where are we going? Providing support and recognizing achievements, leading to increased morale and commitment. When Trump did that interview with Joe Rogan, when he did that interview with that young lady, what was her last name? With the lady on Face the Nation. It was stellar. Go back and look at Trump's. The last time I looked at it, it's been looked at 3 million views, and that was within 5 days. I think the Rogan one was looked at 30 million times. Listen, go look at those things. Powerful. This is why he won. Decision-making skills. We're talking about competence in leadership. The clinical perspective, these things affect the emotion. These things affect how people think. These things affect how secure we feel. Decision-making skills. Competent leaders can make sound decisions based on analysis, considering different perspectives, and adapting to changing situations. What else do competent leaders have? Communication skills. Their communication skills give people confidence and they feel safe. Why? Because there's clear and open communication that's crucial for conveying expectations, providing feedback, and fostering collaboration within a team. I want a team and leadership that can communicate. I've seen what happens when it's not there. Emotional intelligence from competent leaders. Understanding and managing one's own emotions as well as the emotions of others allows leaders to build strong relationships and navigate complex situations. Let me say this go round, I have to give him a shout out. Donald Trump's emotional presentation is different. And I could really see it in that interview with Joe Rogan. It's worth you going to see. And in that interview with that, since the election, his full interview that he gave on Face the Nation, stellar. You could see he was very focused. He held to the task, but in such a direct, respectful manner. It was there. The man's different. Yes, he is. What else is important in competent leadership? The ability to adapt to changing circumstances and lead teams through transitions is vital in today's dynamic environments. I believe Donald Trump is a master. Our president-elect is a master of that. He was the one that we said that's who we want in charge. Building teams, team building and collaboration. Fostering a collaborative environment where team members feel valued and empowered to contribute their ideas is essential. And then there's integrity and ethical behavior. Leaders who demonstrate ethical standards build trust and respect among their team members. Overall, competent leadership plays a significant role in achieving organizational success by maximizing the potential of individuals and teams, the potential of us as a nation, the potential of us as families, fostering a positive environment and driving innovation and progress. That's why I said we're going somewhere and it's expecting us when we get there. So where do we go from here? One thing that may be warranted for us to move forward in peace is paying attention to what we've looked at tonight. We've looked at the nation's financial stability in a politically charged America. It's really charged. Yeah. And from a clinical perspective, we've looked at the role of competence in leadership. Are these things important? Absolutely, yes. We want our nation to do well. We want all our Americans to do well. We want our children to prosper. We want our posterity to soar. I remember when this nation was number one in the world in our academic rating, and then now in math, we're like 37th. China's number one in every category. That was not the case in the late 60s going into the 70s, in spite of all the turmoil that was going on. We've just been on a wrong track, and it's not too late for us to turn things around. So what have we looked at tonight? Yes, financial stability in a politically charged America. And our clinical perspective, the role of competence in leadership. I believe we are surrounded with competent people. I'm talking to some of them right here tonight. I'm competent. That I know. I don't know everything, but what I know. We are one nation under God. We're indivisible with liberty and justice for all. We're going somewhere, and it's expecting us when we get there. And we're going to take our children with us. We're going to take the nation, the churches, the people, we the people going together, because God is not done with America. You know why? I'm still here. You are still here. We have a great leadership team in this nation, our executive branch. We have a GOP trifecta. The nation spoke loud and clear, and we're going to keep coming back because we're going somewhere. It's expecting us when we get there. Listen, we are going together, you and I, from destruction to dignity. Clinical perspectives, spiritual truths. Keep coming back. I will see you next week. Good night.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of From Destruction to Dignity with Janice Pons. Janice's mission is to provoke thought, bring awareness, and point people towards intervention when needed. As a reminder, this show is not therapy, but for educational purposes only. For more information, check out JanicePons.com or follow her on social media.
We are one power, strength is ours, liberty, been set free, education, affirmation, dedication, information, revelation.